All right. Wow, guys. This is what we were wanting. This is what we were hoping for with this homestand, right? Bunch of Kraken wins. Teams playing so much better, playing together. The cohesiveness is there. The systems are all starting to come in. We'll definitely talk about that. Um, just gonna be me tonight. RJ got press pass, press booth access, all all the bells and whistles tonight. So RJ is there. He's gonna be joining us probably in chat again as he does the post game interview stuff. Fill us in with what the team's talking about there. But yeah, I mean, following up that 5-1 win over Montreal with this 4-1 win over the Wild, I mean, this is exactly what we were hoping to see. And man, this team looks so good. Some shakiness a little bit there in the third period, right? But oh my gosh. Oh, so excited for all of this. Um, I will just say to start off the night also, I've been a little under the weather the last 2 days, so we'll see how long I can make it tonight. Just throwing that out there. But yeah, obviously lots of excitement in the chat. It's been awesome. Borgen soon, please. Yeah, we'll see Borgen eventually, I would assume. That being said, like one of the things I wanted to talk about tonight was how well Jeremy Lauzon played. I thought this was definitely his best game. Don't know if he was watching the post game from last week when we were talking about playing the man, not the puck, but he did that a ton tonight. Definitely made sure he had his guys wrapped up in front of Grubauer there all night long. He played super physical. I thought he had a great game. So that was really good to see from him. Obviously, Hayden Fleury. I brought it up last time. RJ even, he texted me after that second Fleury goal. He said I should just put my comments about Fleury from the last post game on repeat for this one. But yeah, he's shooting the puck finally, right? It feels like that's been something I've been saying about him his whole career is just shoot the puck. He's finding shooting lanes. That's what's really impressive. Like he can line those up really well. He knows how to read a defense, and those goals are coming. It's awesome. Let's see. Yeah, noticed a little Flurry tonight in Seattle. I know I was hoping he would get one of the empty netters, get the hat trick. That would have been pretty sweet to see from him. Definitely excited from that. What do people think of the Gord and Tanev line? Yeah, I saw that a little bit tonight. It's interesting. I want to see more of it before I would comment on stuff like that. I will say the PK, we talked about it some last time, right? PK for this team is really, really good. I was paying attention to that this game, and one of the things I thought was really, really great was if you look at like the first opportunity for the Wild on the power play after that interference call on Bastion, Tanev, Gord, and Larson demonstrated some like the best textbook, PK play you'll ever see on the penalty kill. They were really smooth handing coverages off to each other as the Wild player would kind of cycle around with the puck, right? They would, there was times when Gord would stick on the puck carrier, transition, from, east-west, Tanev would slide over and take Gord's previous position, and it was very seamless. If the puck carrier would go deep to go behind the net, Larson would pick up the puck carrier, and that handoff was super smooth and seamless, and there was a lot of that. So I do think that there is some chemistry there between Tanev and Gord and all that stuff. I just think everything is really going well there. But yeah, the PK was great. I got some stuff to talk about the power play. We'll get to that in a little bit, I'm sure. Some ideas. And yeah, so it was good. Back-to-back wins. It does feel so good. It feels awesome. Grubauer slamming the door. He was awesome tonight. Made some huge saves. He was totally there for this team. The first, almost all of that third period, really, because the team, they got their 1-goal lead thing going where they were just like, oh, we can just cruise the third period for some reason. A little disappointing to see that come back, but I thought it was pretty Grubauer was there for this team, and gosh, I mean, he's playing lights out right now. I think he's really starting to feel it. I think being in Seattle, one place, not hopping all around on the road trip, I think that's doing good for him. I think he's really going to come on, and we're going to see that Vezina candidate that we saw from last year. That's what grinding out the third is supposed to look like. A few chances, no doubt, but solid overall, and Groovy was a monster. Yeah, no, Grubauer was great. Probably the first 13 minutes of that third period were a little shaky. Obviously, some great chances. Kraken got some lucky bounces there, but that's Kraken hockey, I guess. Grubauer was a beast, 100%. I love the way that players like Tanev and Fleury that didn't shine on their previous teams are really stepping up and scoring goals. Excellent point you bring up, Lindsay. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things with these expansion teams. We saw that with guys like William Karlsson in Vegas, is sometimes guys just need the opportunity. And if you're stuck on a good team, on a deep team, particularly if they're deep at your position, that was always Hayden Fleury's problem in Carolina. They're just super deep on defense, never got put in the position to really, take over a game like he did tonight. And kind of similar situation in Anaheim after he was traded at the deadline last year. So that is one of the fun things about the expansion draft process, is bringing these guys in. All of a sudden they can get, maybe 5 to 10 more minutes every night out there. And, some of these guys really do surprise you. They are skilled players. Everybody in the NHL is skilled, obviously, but getting those opportunities, getting able to play with maybe some different caliber of players also on their lines can sometimes help. And never underestimate just the difference of changing systems, right? We see that from players at trade deadlines. We see that free agency year to year. Some guys take to new systems really well, others don't. It's one of those things, but that's the more traditional aspects of just moving teams is also there as well. But yes, the Kraken are definitely enjoying having guys like Tanev and Fleury around. Yeah, Hayden legit for sure. And you said I shouldn't buy a Fleury jersey. Yeah, no, you go out and get it now. I think he's, he was out of the lineup there for a couple games, but I think that this is, he is there to stay now. I think last game obviously tied for the league leading shots. The team leading shots, coming in tonight, picking up right where he left off, scoring a couple goals. I don't see how Hackstall can take him out of this lineup now. Tanev must have drafted himself in fantasy hockey because he understands the importance of garbage time. Yeah, I mean, he's just one of those guys. Motor's there, it's set to 100. He's just gonna go no matter what. Obviously love him getting that empty net goal, keeping that goal scoring pace. He's one off the amount of goals he scored all of last year. We're only 8 games into the season. He's already got 6. I hope not just, he drafted himself in fantasy this year. If any of you guys are playing fantasy, I hope you took a stab at him too, because he's paying some early dividends, that's for sure. Fleury, Gio, and Dunn can all launch Unreal Clappers. Yes, they can. And, that's one of the things that's a little interesting / frustrating about the power play, is that you have like all these defensemen that can totally launch it from the point, should be able to take advantage of that. I don't understand why 5-on-5 everybody seems to just work better than they do on the power play. I think some of that has to just do with the overall movement of things. The power play is very stagnant. Really the only movement is with the puck itself, passing it back to the point, back to the half boards, back to the point, right? They're moving things around like that. I would like to see them try something similar to what we saw Philadelphia use against the Kraken. If you haven't completely wiped that game from your memory, and I would understand if you did, one of the things that the Flyers did on the power play that thinking about it tonight worked really, really well was, instead of just passing the puck, one guy like Konechny would just take the puck himself, and he would cycle around back to the point and back to the other half boards. And as he was cycling himself, his teammates were shifting and kind of transitioning where they were to fill the void that he was leaving as he was going around the zone. And what that does is not only is the puck moving from side to side, but with him doing that and with the other players doing that, the defensive coverage now has to start shifting, and the penalty killers have to start handing off their guys as guys are moving outside their like zone of coverage, right? And anytime you get those handoffs, like I was saying, the Kraken are really good at it on PK tonight, but anytime you have those situations, you have a lot of opportunities for misplays by the defense, misplays by the penalty killers. There, a handoff doesn't go totally smooth, right? And all of a sudden you have an opening, and that's something that the Flyers were able to take advantage of with the Kraken in that game. So I'd like to see the Kraken try to start moving themselves around on the power play instead of just the puck. It's worth a shot, right? I mean, they're 0 for 8 the last 2 games, even though they've won both games, dominated. I think the power play is 0 for 8, and that's that's not going to cut it come like playoff time or come later in the season. So I think that's something that that would be a worthwhile thing to do. Scared at the beginning of this one, but the Kraken recovered quickly. Yes, they did. I think it helped, getting that second one waved off for being kicked in. We finally got a kicked in goal call that went our way, guys. Isn't that awesome? Yeah, I think that helped them a lot. On that first Wild goal, kind of similar situation to what we saw in the last game. Why are both defensemen either behind the goal line or kind of parallel to the goal line? It's not really what you want to be seeing. Lexiak went behind the goal line. He was trying to pass, cut off the pass, kind of, the Wild were cycling it around the back of the boards there. Lexiak goes back there. He misses cutting off the pass, and then he gets tied up by somebody. Giordano goes to the other side, but he holds up at the goal line because Yanni Gourde has back-checked and has the other guy behind the net. Unfortunately, though, that left Giordano's back to the front of the net, and so when the pass came out that way, Hartman was essentially wide open right in front of Grubauer there, and he was able to pick his spot and get that goal. Don't like to see that stuff. Obviously, we talked about that last game. Didn't see it though the rest of the night. Like I said, Jeremy Lauzon, totally, the coaching staff, he must have watched tape, seen what was going on last game. He played awesome tonight. But yeah, I think they're getting used to each other. They're building that chemistry, building that confidence. And once you're playing with that confidence, I mean, outside of staring down like a 7-goal deficit going into the third, you feel like you can do anything. And so I'm really glad to see that the Kraken are playing that way and feeling that way. Power play needs a bit of work. So impressed with how they improved their 5-on-5. Yeah, and the next one too. Power play was moving the puck a lot, but not a lot of good chances. Yeah, I think if they start moving themselves instead of just moving the puck, I think that'll open up things defensively. You'll see some defensive breakdowns, some confusion for the other team's penalty killers. I think that's something I want to see from them moving forward. Todd did. Me too. The Wild were pressing out of. Yeah, and then we dug it out and turned it around on them. Yeah, and it's good to see the Kraken do that. Struggled with that towards the later half of that road trip, but to see it all now is really, really fun. RJ here in chat, yeah, he did talk about how awesome the energy was in the building tonight. He said it's definitely the loudest it's been, and so that's good to hear from him. And I do think that was something that came across in the TV coverage. So that's exciting to see. I was genuinely shocked how much they outshot Minnesota in the second. Weren't just halfway chances either. Talbot has a solid game. Yeah, RJ's in love with Cam Talbot. You can go look up stuff from him, talking about him back when we were like covering who they would take from Minnesota, which feels like a million years ago now. Yeah, Talbot played a great game. Kraken dominated that second period. We've seen glimpses of that. We've never seen it for a full 20 minutes the way we saw it tonight, but we were kind of seeing that stuff start, and really, really excited to see it all come together there. Gonna shoot down. Thank you so much, Brian. It seems like every chat, every post game, you're here with this. Gatorade time. 2 guys I've got to give a shout out to, Donskoy and Schwartz. They were very present, active, and grinding. Each got an assist. Happy for them. # keep Kraken. Again, Brian, thanks so much. We Really, really appreciate that. And yeah, Donskoy, I was hoping he would get the empty netter down there towards the end. He did play a great game. He's one of those guys, he plays a very similar game to Tanev in a lot of ways, in the sense that he's got that motor going 110%, 110% of the time. Super creative player. I got to think that, soon the chances are going to come from him. He did play an excellent game tonight. I really struggled trying to think of third stars. Obviously, Fleury and Grubauer. I had a couple guys in contention kind of for that third spot, and I do think Donskoy belongs in that conversation for sure. Schwartz, similar situation to Eberle. We thought he was going to come in, be one of the top goal scorers for this team. Been a little unlucky, but he had some good chances. I love the way he drives the net, and he has that net front presence, and that is going to lead the goals, just like I've been saying with some of those other guys, right? That is going to come for him. That one where he took that rebound and turned around and fired it. Oh, I thought that one was going in. That one was so close. That was I was really hoping that would be the goal for him, and he can get moving too, just like we got Eberle moving. All right, so coming back up here, Ice looked a lot better tonight. Yeah, it did. I think every game it's gonna kind of settle in, and we're gonna start seeing things. Everybody's gonna start getting used to the ice, getting used to the boards. Again, boards are different building to building too. So, we kind of saw that with Giordano's, maybe his empty netter tonight. He kind of knew how the boards played, take advantage of that. I'm sure that's what he would say, right? It's never lucky bounces. You always mean to do stuff like that. But yeah, the puck was not bouncing around a ton tonight. Didn't see guys blow tires the way we have the last two games either, where, maybe they hit a divot or something like that. So yeah, I think it's going. Coming back down, Sergeant Pickles with the super chat. Why you gotta be like that, Brian? This is the rest of my Tightwad Terrace beer funds. Also, Dylan, make RJ give you the media pass. Yeah, so we are going to. There's going to be news about that kind of stuff on the podcast. Some stuff has come up. We'll talk about it on Monday on the podcast about that, but my time will come, Sergeant Pickles. Don't worry about it. But I appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right. Losing my place again. All right. I vote we decline the power play. Sergeant Pickles higher up in the chat. Yeah, I mean it's crazy that they just don't play with that same 5-on-5 energy on the power play. I really want to see them bring that same effort level, that same movement, just that kind of going for the jugular mentality they seem to have on the 5-on-5, like that we saw in that second period. Like, why does that not exist on the power play? Power plays, you should be more aggressive. You have the opportunity to take those chances. You got an extra guy out there. I've talked about it before, being a Penguins fan before all this. This is what we saw there, and it's frustrating. But, given what we've seen from Hackstall changing things up in the rest of the Kraken's game, I do think that something will happen, and things are going to go their way soon. Best part of our power play was that it surrendered no goals. Other than that, yeah, we have a lot of shorties. That's good. Prediction for Halloween night versus the Rangers, perhaps a ghost sighting. Yeah, I mean, it seemed like Frank Foyston's ghost kind of hung around in the building after that last game. Excuse me. I think the Kraken are a better team than the Rangers. Rangers, they're acting like they're contenders. I'm not entirely sure that they're contenders. I think they're still kind of coming out of their rebuild a little bit. The one thing I will say, though, is we are going to get a chance to see Arturi Panarin. He is by far and away one of the best players in this league. Super exciting to watch. So anytime you get to see a player of his skill level and just his creativity and all the stuff that he does, I think it's always really, really exciting. So I look forward to seeing him. I think if the Kraken can try to shut down his line, though, I don't know that the Rangers' depth all the way down the lineup scares me as much. I think the Kraken can handle that. So if I had to go on the record, I would say the Kraken get the win. We've done good shutting down opposing teams, kind of top scorers. took care of Pedersen the other night in that Canucks game, even though, we lost it. Did pretty good tonight against Kaprizov and stuff. So I think the Kraken are going to be able to pull out the W on Sunday, but it is Halloween, so who knows, right? And reminder, I believe that is a 6 o'clock game, everybody. So not the normal 7 o'clock start time. Yeah, it is 6 o'clock. So just throwing that out there. How many games do you think Grubauer plays this year? Right now, a decent amount. We still don't know kind of how long Drieger's going to be out. That's the one thing that, is at play here. It does not sound like, it doesn't seem like Hackstall wants to throw Decord out there, even though he plays really well whenever he's been in. He obviously, I don't know why he's not playing him a little bit more. That being said, Kraken have had multiple nights off. They're not even every other day right now, so that's been making it easier to throw Grubauer out there. Got to assume we're going to see Decord, though, either Sunday against the Rangers or Monday against Edmonton, just because there's no way Grubauer's playing those back to back. So without knowing how long Drieger's going to be out, it's tough to say. But it does seem like this is going to turn into more of a maybe 65-35 split. If I had to just kind of take a shot in the dark, that's probably what it'll be. I've never been good at math, so I'm not going to totally break that down into an exact number. But yeah, I second that we play better without the advantage. Yeah, we do. It'll come, though. Go Kraken, great job driving play in the first 40. Yeah, so Kraken have been doing an excellent job. Obviously, we talked about how well they dominated that second period. One of the things I noticed, though, as I'm going to actually go to some, I'm going to bring something in here, a prop, we'll call it. This is this lovely, imagine this is the offensive zone, right? So you have the crease here, and the face-off dots, this is behind the net, right? So we talked a lot after that road trip about the Kraken not having, kind of a system. They didn't really have any set plays. They weren't able to do a lot. Well, tonight I saw a set play that was, we saw it, I think, 3 times in the first period, a handful of times in the second, and then a little bit towards the end there again. So back at the beginning of the season, the Kraken, whenever they had it kind of along the half boards, kind of around here, right, they were sending it deep and trying to cycle it around the back, right, like that. And instead of trying to pass like this, east-west like this, doing anything there. What I've been seeing, though, what I saw tonight, though, and it was clear that it was a set play just because of the frequency at which it happened, is player along the half board sends it back here, guy collects the puck behind the net, and he immediately cuts back near side and then makes a pass out front to a winger. The winger from over here starts streaking kind of diagonally across crease like that, and then this player tries to catch the goalie coming off the post there near side, because traditionally when you see a pass like that, the goalie's gonna quick push off from that post there. I know this really quickly turned into a mess. I am not an artiste, but I hopefully you're getting the point of what I'm saying. But I do think that that's an interesting play, because you're not used to seeing guys collect the puck behind the net like that, make such a quick cut back towards the middle, and then make that pass and try to catch the goalie kind of on that short side there. So I do think that's kind of a unique play. It did seem to catch the Wild off guard several times, both the defense and Talbot was kind of on top of it tonight, but I think moving forward that might be something that we can catch some lesser goalies on. So excited to see that. It does show that the coaching staff is working on this stuff. It was just a matter of being patient for some of it. Blackwell, a Sunday surprise. Is that confirmed, or are you just hoping? I haven't heard anything about Blackwell. RJ might know something though. But I would love to see him, and obviously playing against his former team would be a nice place for him to make his debut. Pretty happy with Alexiak again tonight too. Donskoy created lots of chances. Yeah, talked about Donskoy earlier. That again, his time will come. Kind of like Yarncroke in the sense that some of the stuff he does, it doesn't necessarily directly lead to, his name showing up on the box score a lot, but it makes a big difference. And then yeah, Alexiak played well again tonight too. Still want to see him maybe be a little more physical. Lauzon got really physical tonight. I know I've already talked about how much I liked him tonight, but I do think that that's worth stating. And I think once Alexiak kind of brings that in a little bit more, I think a lot of his game was built around some of this cross-checking stuff that the NHL is cracking down on this year. So he's just got to find his way around those new rules, which will happen. I wonder how many smack talkers whose teams got spanked by the Wild this win will shut up. Yeah, I the Wild were pulling out a bunch of come from behind wins or late third period wins, and obviously they were not able to repeat that magic tonight, thankfully. But yeah, I think this was more of a statement win than the Montreal win, just because Montreal's been struggling so much this year. So I don't think people can be looking at this Kraken team anymore and kind of going like, oh, they're just like this team of misfits and they're all disorganized and we can just come in and take advantage of them, because that's not the case anymore. Hopefully when they get a break between games, they work on fixing the power play. Yeah, and I think it'll come. It's slow and steady. They had a lot of stuff to work on, and I think it's going to get there. Sergeant Pickles, the D pairs definitely feel more solidified. Still want to see Soucy over Lauzon. Yeah, I think Soucy does a better job breaking out the puck than Lauzon does, but I mean, Lauzon is improving game by game. He is getting better, so I like that. Crazy Joe, the captain with the geometry major. Oh yeah, the Giordano goal, bouncing it off the boards like that. Yep, that is, he knows what he's doing. He didn't skip math class, that's for sure. Best game, no question, right? Don't want to spoil the good vibes, but how much did the COVID losses on Minnesota end up playing a part? Yeah, Braun, I do think this was, I don't know. I liked a lot of the stuff they were doing in the Montreal game. Granted, it was easier to, an easier team to play, we'll say. So, but yeah, definitely top 2 or 3 games for them. As far as the COVID losses on Minnesota, obviously losing Zuccarello was huge for them, leads the team in points. He's one of those, kind of like Tanev is for us right now, where he's this spunky guy who goes out there, he makes stuff happen, he plays physical, he's fast, he never gives up on plays, he's showing skill, right? He's got some skill, he can make stuff happen that way. So I do think that affects the Wild. Maybe that is why they weren't able to repeat their late game magic that they've had the last couple of years, because when you lose a guy like that, it's hard to replicate what some of those players do. So I don't think that was an inconsequential loss for the Wild tonight, but it was definitely one that the Kraken took advantage of. It's Lindsay with it's the Maple Leaf curse following Hackstall Toronto's power play. It's abysmal. Yeah, it might be, but I'm gonna preach patience on this. I think we can get it going. The only power play start they have is to drop to the point, shot on goal, and clean up rebound. Yeah, and I did talk about that like after the preseason, that's what I wanted to see on the power play. We saw it. It's obviously not working. So like to see them kind of try something else now. RJ here. Yanni Gord was up talking about the importance of extended zone time, tiring out the Wild defenders. Yeah, I mean, there was that one time, if you were watching the Root broadcast, they put up, during one of those extended pressures for the Kraken, those Wild defenders were out there for over 2 minutes. It was John Merrill, and I'm forgetting who his D partner was tonight. But, anytime you can do that, those guys get so gassed. It is so hard to do that. And I know it looks like sometimes, the defensemen in their own zone, they're just kind of standing around their net. But really, they're having to be super physical. They're exerting a lot of energy. They're having to, put leverage on players to try to move them out of spaces, keep them from screening goalies, right? Like, even though they're not necessarily skating around a ton, they're still exerting a lot of energy, and as you get tired, all of a sudden you start losing those leverage battles in front of your own net, and the guys start pushing you around instead of the other way around, and that creates some problems. So glad Yanni Gord's talking about that, and if that's something the Kraken can keep repeating, it'll definitely lead to these wins with kind of some higher margin of victory. Great to see the Kraken get the win against a hot team like the Wild. Yep, I'd love it if, Climate Pledge Arena becomes the place where win streaks come to die, right? That would be kind of a fun thing for us to be known for. They gave up some risky chances, but I think that was more about the Wild having some legit playmakers. Yeah, the Wild are a pretty deep team. No, not necessarily a superstar flashy name, but they are deep and they got a lot of guys that can put the puck in the net. Joshua, I really like Yarncroke's game. Seems to control the pace a lot, especially in the offensive zone. Thoughts? Yeah, we talked about him some last post game. You're right on. He does control the pace of play. That's why I think he was missed a lot during that road trip. His play away from the puck is really what I just kind of ooze over, because it's so good. The way he takes in the defensive zone, the way he takes guys out of plays before they're even in them is really impressive. He knows kind of what an offense is trying to do, and so he'll put himself either in a passing lane, or if they're going to be cycling the puck around, he knows how to jump in front of that and pick it off. He's really, really smart defensively in that way. Excellent penalty killer. Love to see him on the PK. I think he's helped out their PK a lot in a lot of ways. Offensively, he kind of does the same thing. He knows what his team's doing, but he also knows what the defense is doing. And so he knows how to get behind defenders. He knows how to kind of draw defenders away from their spot. He's really good at coming up. And if you notice, he'll get kind of physical with them, right? So they engage physically with him, and then he'll kind of drift away. And all of a sudden, this defenseman is out of position, right? Just because he's drawn them out. So again, not a guy, kind of like Donskoy, not a guy that you might see his name on the box score, but making huge differences every shift that they're out there. Really like Calle Jarnkrok, and really glad that he's back. Krill is unreal. Yeah, Kaprizov is great. The Wild really got a good one there. Digging the chemistry between Jarnkrok and Gord. Hope to see more of them. Yeah, I think they're going to be paired up for a while. That third spot on their line might rotate around, but those guys clearly are on the same page about a lot of things, and that's good for the Kraken. I think a lot of those crazy spin passes and back passes we saw from Gord, Donskoy, and Jarnkrok will connect with more games. Yeah, it is one of those things. Chemistry builds. You get used to what guys want to do, and you take advantage of it later. It's what we've been talking about. Now that the lines are starting to settle down a little bit, guys can build that chemistry. Wish they would run the power play more from the half wall from Alex here. Yeah, maybe instead of the point. The one thing is that works really well for teams that have like a true finisher. Think of like an Ovechkin or a Stamkos, right, where you can kind of have that spot be the one-timer spot, and the whole power play is kind of just setting that up. I don't know that the Kraken necessarily have that guy who just has like an elite slap shot like that. They have the defenseman who can do it. Maybe if you move Fleury down to the half boards or Dunn down to the half boards, maybe you could try to replicate that, and that might be something interesting to see. Jumping down because we got another super chat. Wow, chat's really busy tonight. Thank you so much, Aaron, for the super chat. Really enjoy your channel and content. Glad that you enjoy it. Thanks for being here. We love having everybody. We love the community aspect of this. The reception to it has been far greater than any of us thought it was going to be, and really happy that you guys are all enjoying it. And then Braun, thank you as well. Love the whiteboard. Love to learn the game that way. So feel free to do that more. Going on Sunday, do I do a jersey or a costume for Halloween, or both? Well, congrats on going on Sunday. It is always fun to do the costume games. That being said, if I could understand wanting to go just straight up in the jersey, because, I don't know if this is going to be your first game at Climate Pledge, but I could see wanting to do it that way. That being said, if it is your first game, you could make it so much more memorable by going in a costume. So I guess it might depend on the costume, but I would lean towards costume, and then take plenty of pictures and make sure to share those with us. I think that would be awesome. All right. Now I got to try to find where we were back up here. Oh gosh. Let's see. The Wild are probably the best team that they have beat. Plus it was their first road loss. Definitely a quality win. 100% Kyle. It was a really good win for them. Really happy to see this. Seemed to be a lot of Tanev with Gord. They seem to play off each other well. Yeah. If Tanev, occupies that third spot with, Gord and Jarnkrok, I think that's going to be something that a lot of teams are going to have to fear for sure. Uh, Better outlet passes tonight rather than the predictable side to side and up the boards every time from Sean. Yes, for sure. We saw that some the last game. The start of it we saw in the Canucks game. Really saw it last game against Montreal. Continuing to see it, I think that's going to be a problem of the past, and we can move on, thankfully. Lindsay asking if RJ has a press pass for every home game now, or is he just lucky getting spare tickets? So he got a press pass to opening night, but he had to buy his own ticket. He got lucky and got a ticket to the Montreal game, and then he got the press pass tonight. It's one of those. It's right now. It's kind of game by game. When we applied, that's kind of how it's going. I think on some of the bigger games where there might be more national coverage, we're low man on the totem pole as far as occupying a seat in the press box. So right now it's a little up in the air. We are hoping to nail that down though during this homestand as things get a little more regular, as it's a little less fresh and stuff like that. So depending on what happens, we will maybe adjust how we do the post-game shows, maybe have him join in when he gets home about halfway through these moving forward. We're going to see. But for right now, we're kind of just, we're playing it game by game. Sometimes don't even find out till the morning of if he's going to be there. So that's the situation going on there. RJ here in chat, speak of the devil. First star Hayden Fleury now asked if he saw tonight's performance coming. He said no and then laughed. Yeah, I saw it coming. I think if all of us who watched that last game when he had 5 shots, I think we knew the goals were coming. He was getting good shots. He was just a little unlucky last game. Happy to see that luck turned around for this one. And because he was first star, bring up how awesome is their celebration. The stars of the game come out and tossing the stuffed fish up into the crowd like they're working at Pike Place Market. Like I love that unique take on the 3 stars thing. A lot of teams have the guys come out and they'll give away a stick or something to a kid, right? They'll point out a kid over the boards, pass a stick up and over. But I really like that. I think it's a unique way to bring Seattle into it, and really excited to see that from the Kraken. Finally able to, this is from Nathan, finally able to catch a post-game live. Often doesn't work with my schedule here in Iowa. Y'all do such a great job in your coverage. Power play needs work. Defense look great. Go Kraken. Thanks for joining us from Iowa. Always surprised but happy to see these you guys from all over the country, all over the world joining us for these. It's really, really awesome. This is exactly the kind of community aspect we were hoping for. So thanks for joining us, Nathan. Glad you're here live. Let's see here. Let's see. Habs up on the Sharks 4-0. Sorry, RJ, but yay for Pacific standings. Okay. We'll say one thing about Montreal. RJ said that Marc Bergevin, GM of the Montreal Canadiens, was actually at Climate Pledge Arena tonight watching the game. Don't know what that means. Don't know if they're looking to make a move. I don't know, because as they're only going to have one more game against the Kraken the rest of this season, so I doubt that he was trying to scout the team for that. But we'll I'm just bringing that up because I thought that was interesting. He thought that was interesting, so gonna throw that out there. Not sure what it means, but Marc Bergevin was at the game tonight in Seattle. All right, so let's see. How's it going, folks? Feels good seeing Gio and Fleury finally uncork the bottle after having so many quality shots the past couple games. Yep. And as long as, every night you get at least one of these guys stepping up, getting the bounces, all that stuff, generally that's all it takes to string together a couple wins in a row, and that's what we're seeing right now. So really happy for that. Looks like Daryl's got a suggestion for the power play. Gord, Tanev, and Donskoy. That would be one way of getting things going. Tanev kind of bringing that chaos. Net front, Gord and Donskoy bringing the creativity. I mean, it's worth trying to me. Let's see here. The other important thing is that all 4 of our closest division rivals lost tonight. That is important. Again, can't panic too early in the season with the small sample sizes. Things can change very, very fast when it's this early in the season. Still October. So, yeah, moving forward. Breadman is on my fantasy, so I guess it's okay if he scores, lol. Yeah, you got a good one there, Lindsay. But yeah, hopefully he doesn't do it too much on the Kraken, but maybe enough for you to win your matchup. RJ back in chat. Grubauer is talking now. Says his mindset is always the same, even when not facing a shot after a while. Says second period was one of the best the team has played so far. Yeah, we've been worried a little bit with these kind of prolonged times where he's just kind of sitting in the net, not facing a shot. Seemed like he was struggling with that earlier in the season. Didn't really struggle with it tonight, which was awesome to see. And yeah, I think we can all agree that that second period is probably the best period of hockey we've seen this team play all season long. And yeah, he only had to face 3 shots during it. So I'd be happy with that too if I was the goalie. Let's see. Hey guys, seems like Fleury was forced to watch ECH with Dylan talking about him having to shoot more, and now he's scoring. Yeah, it was funny between him and Lauzon tonight after that last post game. I was curious if anyone in that building was watching, if they got my house bugged or something. But if it means Kraken wins, just steal any info you need from me. Let's see. Outlet passes keep getting better, and I was impressed with the puck movement from Alexiak and Fleury. Yeah, and I do like how on this team these defensemen, these bigger defensemen, they activate on offense. They drive deep into the zone. They'll drive to the net every once in a while. I really like that about this team. That just how active offensively the defensemen are 5-on-5, and it's not just like them taking slap shots from the point, right? Again, maybe that's something that can change on the power plays, get those guys moving up a little more. I think that would be awesome, but we'll see. All right, Blake asking a really good question. I'm new to hockey. Why did they pull their goaltender? So obviously the Wild pulled their goaltender at the end of this game. In hockey, you're allowed to pull your goaltender for a 6th skater. So if you're down by 1 goal, sometimes 2 goals, what a team will do is if they can establish in the offensive zone, kind of get some puck movement there, they'll pull their goalie to have an extra guy out there hoping that they can score the tying goal. It's kind of like a last chance, last ditch effort to tie the game up and try to send it to overtime. Like I said, sometimes some coaches are more aggressive with it than others. Going back into the day, Mike Babcock, like if he was down 2 or 3, sometimes even like 4 minutes out, he'd pull. I remember him pulling like Jimmy Howard in some games and stuff with like 4 minutes left, just because why not? If he felt like that was gonna wake up the team, maybe get them going. So that's what that's about is, you're allowed to have 6 players on the ice. Generally, you want a goalie to be one of those 6, but there are some times if the offense is, you're desperate for that offense, it makes more sense to pull the goalie and go with the 6 skaters. So good question. Glad you asked it. I'm sure there's other people that are new to hockey. Always, glad to answer those questions. So if you ever have another one, please feel free to ask it. Man, Grubauer is worth every penny. Colorado is missing him. I guarantee it. Yeah, Colorado's starting the season off a little slow. It's definitely possible that losing him is the reason why for that. That being said, that team still really scares me. So we'll see. But hopefully he's kind of got the book on those shooters, that deadly offense Colorado has. Hopefully Grubauer's kind of got the book on them, and he can pull that out later in the season when we've got to play him. Nathan, forgive my lack of knowledge in the terminology, but seems we're very stagnant on the power play, especially whoever is in the center. Saw a couple passes where players switch, but not much else. Yeah, no, you're right on. They are stagnant. They're not moving a lot. I want to see that movement. I think we've seen that movement work against the Kraken earlier in the season, especially in that Flyers game. So you're right on, Nathan. I do think that's part of the problem with them right now. Brian asking how and when Drieger got hurt. I don't know that they ever specified what the injury was. Hockey coaches, it's always upper or lower body injury, but that was in the Flyers game when he came in to replace Grubauer. He finished that game, but then he was on the injury report the next day. He was supposed to start that Columbus or the New Jersey game that next night. Joey Decord was called up and started that game instead. And he's been out ever since. So I don't believe that RJ's more plugged into that stuff, but I don't believe that they ever told us. It's just a vague lower body injury. Lindsay answering the question for why to pull the goalie. Thanks for helping out with that. Everybody helping out with that. That's awesome. Glad everyone's so welcoming in the community. Superfly, power play shows clearly that we're an expansion team. Hackstall needs to work the next 2 days on zone entries and maybe mixing up the passing in the offensive zone if they ever get there. Yeah, I mean, it is weird that they just can't even establish in the offensive zone on the power play when they're clearly so dominant 5-on-5. And I got to think that's just because of the aggressiveness. That's the only thing that's missing on this power play is the movement and the aggressiveness. So definitely hope to see that. Let's see, Brian, 57 in chat, 16 likes. That's a stat that only beats our power play. Lol, come on, folks, like it now. Go, yes, up the likes, and it clearly worked. We're up to 27 likes, 62 in chat. Thanks, Brian, for the help there. Definitely appreciate that and all that you do for us. Would love to see Decord start Sunday. Hopefully, being at home would help him. I prefer to have Grubauer against McJesus and Draisaitl. Yeah, I think that's definitely worth doing. That game, is in Edmonton, so they're gonna have to play that game against the Rangers on Sunday, and get up to Edmonton for the game the next day. Probably does make more sense to have Grubauer go against Edmonton in that game, just because coming off the travel like that, you probably want the guy with a little bit more experience to handle that, especially facing two of the top offensive players in the league instead of only one in Arturi Panarin. So I do think that we have a shot to see Joey in that Sunday game against the Rangers. Let's see. We're going to need to get some donations going for a video screen to break down plays. Yeah, that would be cool. But you telling me you guys don't like this mess? Come on, it's great. Yeah, we'll see. Obviously, now I'm seeing where we were in the chat. Sorry, I'm so far behind everybody. Everybody talking about the breakdown there. Back-to-back with travel in Edmonton is going to be rough. I won't fault them if they don't win that one. Kind of same. It is going to be rough. But I think with the way the team is playing now, I think even if they lose, it's not going to be easy for anybody. And at the end of the day, that's all you really want from your team. You can't win all the games. You at least want your team to put up a good fight. Love to see the use of the prop. Legitimately love learning that kind of stuff. Thanks for that. You're welcome, Braun. Minnesota Wild is a good team, and we beat them. Yes, we did, JP. Rip to that Minnesota rookie that tripped over a puck in warm-ups. Lol. Yeah, that's rough. That's, and he's out there all alone, right? They're giving him the rookie treatment. You send the rookie out there all by himself to take the lap around and then to step on the puck like that. That kid was so nervous doing all that too, and then to go down like that. That is definitely not the way you want to start, but also at the same time, it's a unique story to tell about your NHL, your first time out there. So, yeah. Kraken in fourth place now, 1 point out of third, and the playoffs. Yeah, it's all coming early in the season. It's all gonna turn around. Hot take: Kraken are showcasing Fleury for a trade. That is, I guess, possible with the way he's playing right now and the how aggressive he is offensively and how well he kind of fits in with this aggressive mentality that they have 5-on-5. I would hope that they don't trade Fleury. But that is potentially a reason why they worked him back into the lineup over Soucy. That being said, I think both me and RJ thought Fleury was playing better than both Soucy or Lauzon earlier in the season, so it could just be that they worked him back in because he's just been playing better. But yeah, I mean, you never know. Again, we still got Will Borgen stuck on the bench, not being able to do anything. This team has, more defensemen than we can play, so at some point somebody is probably going to move. Maybe that's why Marc Bergevin was there tonight. Obviously Montreal very familiar with Cale Fleury, Hayden's brother, so we'll see. I'm sure the power play will be a point of focus next 2 games. Yes, it will. On Esped Plus, I got to see the Root broadcast. It's getting better. I like the ladies' analysis at intermission. I tend not to watch the intermissions too much. I use those for eating and stuff like that. Generally, I'm on the run a little bit. But I do think that the Root broadcasts have improved dramatically over the preseason and then even the start of this season. I love Forsland, and JT Brown has totally stepped up, and he's been great as a color guy. Really excited to hear him. He's starting to bring in the stories a little bit more now, talk about his relationship from his playing days. I always enjoy that kind of stuff, and just the way he's hopping in to kind of break down plays either during stoppages or stuff like that. I really think that everybody's getting better, and yeah, I'm sure the intermission stuff's good. I also don't like to watch the intermission stuff because I want to have my own thoughts, and I don't want to hear other analysts. I don't want to let that stuff seep in and try seeing that stuff. I like to just trust my eyes. How many of you thought Tanev would lead the Kraken in scoring? I don't think many of us. Probably Brandon Tanev, but he might have been the only one. Let's see. The penalty kills move the Kraken up to rank number 7 in terms of penalty kill tonight. Yeah, their penalty kill is looking pretty unbeatable right now. I think it's going really, really well there. So really excited for that. Let's see. Oh, just got another super chat from Kraken fan. Thank you so much. I'm digging that logo that you got there, Kraken fan. That's a nice logo you have, but thank you very much for that super chat. We totally appreciate it, for sure. Tanev scoring is going to get me in trouble this season. The wife hates it. Every time he scores, I get super hyped, screaming crazy eyes. It wakes her up every time. That's from Joshua. Dude, but if that's the price we got to pay for Brandon Tanev to be almost a goal per game, I mean, see if you can talk your wife into letting that happen for all of us, because I think it'll be well worth it. But I do love that, just screaming crazy eyes, and while your partner's trying to sleep. That I could see how that might ruffle some feathers. Let's see. Need more former scout breakdowns. Yeah, well, I'm trying to give it to you, Sergeant Pickles, as much as I can here. Tanev is already a legend. I mean, he was a legend the day he took that photo, right? I mean, that's legendary right there. That you would not only have that in Pittsburgh, but then somehow one up it here in Seattle. He is legendary. Our power play is way too easy to defend, given that we got about 2 plays, and if we actually make it to the offensive zone, everyone knows what pass will happen. Yep, gotta switch it up. That's why I'd like to see them maybe move around with the puck more instead of just passing it. But we'll see. I hope and pray the whole arena goes as the ghost Tanev saw. That would be awesome. A mass coordinated 17,000 people in on one joke. That would be quite impressive if we could get that to happen. RJ here. Hackstall calls the disallowed goal a turning point in tonight's game, but it's only a turning point if you take advantage of it and get going, and our guys got going. Yeah, I mean, we talked about that a little bit earlier on, right? Getting that kicked in goal to go our way this time around, that was the catalyst. You could tell that got the team going. So you don't want you can't count on disallowed goals to get your team going at the start of every game, but when they're there, you do take advantage of those if you can, and this team is getting better at taking advantage of those momentum swings, I feel like, and trying to stop the bleeding during the times that they haven't. Some rough spots in this third period, but still, I think this team is improving in that regard. Tanev Gord Yarncroke line is great and a pain in the butt for other teams, a bit like the line Gord was on in Tampa. Also, Donskoy was fantastic today. Yes, he was Superfly. Let's see. The power play has trouble gaining the zone. Yeah, the power play has trouble kind of doing everything, unfortunately. Excellent, RJ. Thank you for your work at the presser. Thank you, Dylan, for fighting the good fight while not feeling swell. Yeah, you're welcome, Brian. This is one of the highlights of my day, so even if I'm not feeling good, definitely want to be here for it. I look forward to it. And yes, RJ is doing an awesome job. I do appreciate that he's here in chat letting us know this stuff. Speaking of which, Hackstall says the Gord line did a fantastic job shutting down Kaprizov line by grinding down low. Do you think that was something that happened for sure? I mean, that's just a tough line to play against in all regards. You have the defensive acumen of really all 3 guys. Certainly from Gord, we know winning those cups in Tampa, that was his role to shut guys down. And Yarncroke is excellent defensively. And then Tanev is just physical and wild and awesome. And so definitely think that helps. Nathan grew up near Seattle. This is a great way to stay connected to home. You're not alone with that, Nathan, and I'm glad that we're able to help you do that. That means a lot that you say that. So thank you, and you're welcome. Maybe the Habs want Susie, given that they need help at the blue line. It's yeah. I mean, my guess is any team that would be here scouting the Kraken are looking at a defenseman, but Montreal definitely could use it. Weber left a big hole there. RJ is jealous of Bergie's suit game. Oh, Bergeron, I would assume. He does have interesting suit game. I will say that for sure. Um, let's see. Any chance Kraken sign Kakniemi in the off season? It's possible. Right now, it doesn't feel like they have a problem center depth wise. Um, I think we're gonna know kind of what they want in the off season a little bit later on. I think it might be a little too early to be looking that far ahead. But Kakniemi is looking a lot better this year in Carolina. I think that change of scenery helped him. So I wouldn't say no if they brought him in. Just saying that. Lots of good community stuff here in chat. This is the second game in a row where Alexiak had low time on ice, second lowest, but highest plus minus for a defenseman. Why is he getting less minutes despite the good starts? He's playing well defensively. I think part of it is he's getting outplayed offensively, and they're really trying to keep this aggressive push going. I think that's why they had Fleury play so much tonight. But also I do think as Larson as Lauzon has been improving, that Larson-Lauzon pair, they really count on that a lot for like when they need to shut things down. Certainly they're playing more so on like the penalty kill. Really a lot of that I feel like with Alexiak is just he's not necessarily the most offensively skilled guy, so you don't have him out there on the power play. Obviously we had 4 cracks at that tonight, so that's a decent amount of time that he just misses out on just because he's not there, and he's kind of on the second unit PK, so he's not seeing a lot of special teams time on either end. Generally, that's usually the place to look at for like a defenseman's time on ice being low, is just because if it's a special teams heavy night, kind of like tonight was, and they're not out there for those, it kind of skews the numbers a little bit. So I think that's probably what was going on there. Some more people. Joshua's from Virginia now. Okay, so I like to see where everybody's at. It's really awesome. Sorry for all you East Coast people who've got to stay up so late for this, but still glad you're here. Daryl asking thoughts on Larson and I thought Larson played a really, really solid game, all around game, super solid defensively. All of you guys should know by now, Larson's my favorite Kraken player. Can't say enough good things about him. I just think he's got that awesome, Swedish defenseman mentality where they're just rock solid kind of at everything. Don't necessarily stand out game to game, night to night, all that stuff, but they make sure that their presence is felt, and they help their teams win. Even though it seems like it backfires more often than not, analytics say the earlier you pull the goalie, the better. That's from Lindsay. Yeah, I mean, I do think that it's sometimes worth it. Like I said, it's interesting then that the guy I referenced would be Mike Babcock, because I don't necessarily think he was the biggest fan of analytics back in his coaching career. But yeah, it doesn't necessarily surprise me having that extra person out there. I mean, think of, if you have a good power play, think of how often that, kind of scores. If you're really putting pressure on the opposing team to where they kind of just got to launch it all the way from their own zone, it's hard to hit that net from 200 feet away, let me tell you, speaking from experience. Braun, all right, chat, I'm trying to think of a costume right now. I'm thinking maybe a classic sheet ghost with a jersey over it, or maybe a sheet with the S drawn on. Other ideas? Yeah, chat, help him out. I'm completely spacing right now, but I do like the idea of maybe doing like a Charlie Brown sheet ghost thing where you just got like holes all over it. Certainly help with the breathability of it all, especially if you also got a jersey on or something. That could probably get pretty hot pretty quick. So I'll throw that out there. Let's see. Like the ghost idea. Can anyone explain the goalie interference call? He was clearly pushed into the goalie. That's from Joshua. Yeah, I have no idea why that call was made. I thought that was a rough call. I thought he was pushed in. I had the volume on low, so I didn't necessarily hear Forsland and JT Brown at the time. If they referenced something, if they saw something that I didn't, I thought he was pushed in. I thought that call should have been waved off, but your guess is as good as mine. RJ, no detail given on the Drieger injury, but we have seen him on the ice after practice the last 3 days, so he is working his way back. So there you go. That's the latest on Drieger there. Knew RJ would have the answer. Let's see. Yeah, everybody. Irish Lad is a legend, staying up this late for us all here. Let's see. Irish Lad, I think it's more important to bank points against the Rangers than worry about keeping it close against McDavid and company. So Grubauer should start Sunday and Decord on Monday. That is definitely one school of thought, and I do see it. I think that's we'll learn a lot about Hackstall about what he decides to do, if he wants to do that or play it the other way. I think traditionally in hockey, guys are a little more old school where they want to go for that fight in both games, but I don't necessarily know that strategy is worse than the other. I couldn't tell you what the numbers would back up or anything, but yes, that is definitely an option for them. Let's see. Eli, appreciate the coverage. Great job. You're absolutely welcome. Lindsay, all right, fam. Laptop is about to die, so I'm going to call it a night. Great post game. Great Kraken win. See you on Sunday. Thanks all. See you, Lindsay. Thanks for everything tonight. Good to see you again. Aaron, Susie penalties against Canucks. Terrible spot in the game. Definitely the reason he's not in the lineup. I do think that was probably why he was pulled from the lineup, and then Fleury has just played great since he's been put back into the lineup. So I think you're right on it there. Caleb saying Root Sports needs to step up and get more options to watch. Yeah, I mean, there's the ESPN Plus thing. Obviously, in-market games are blacked out. There are ways around that, though. And then I think Root Sports is on, was it Fubo? Fubi TV? Sorry if I think it's Fubo. I'm pretty sure they're on that. If they're not, then they're going to be shortly. That was the last I heard on that. Let's see. Yeah, lots of hype for Allison's analysis and data storytelling on the Root broadcasts. Yeah, Allison is great. The stuff I've seen of her is really, really good. Any update on Appleton? Lower body injury. It's coach speak, I know, but that's what I know. RJ hopefully will do something later, maybe in chat if he's got one. Let us know, RJ. Do you think that the Kraken can make the playoffs in their first year? Yes, I do. I think they're playing really well. I think they got a good deep team. I think the division isn't necessarily the greatest one out there, and I think that'll help them out. But certainly if they keep playing the way they've played the last couple games, they'll make the playoffs for sure. Brian, tonight John Forsland really started to open up. He's fantastic. Yes, I'm a shill for Forsland, being a Hurricanes fan since they moved to North Carolina. He will be beloved in Seattle. Happy JT Brown is opening up as well. Yes, I think we're going to have one of the top duos in the game pretty soon. So really happy to have both of those guys here. Gio's turned it around for sure. He was not playing his best on that road trip. I think a lot of the guys weren't. I think it was rough coming in, doing that really short training camp, running into those COVID issues going into the first game, and then having to start on the road because the building wasn't ready. I think it was rough on a lot of them, and glad to see that they're all turning it around now. Alex, agreed on Forsland. Two final things for you tonight from Nathan. Seems tough to leave Donato out of the lineup going forward. Who's odd man out? Thoughts on Florida Quinville firing? Okay, that is certainly the Quinville thing is a whole big thing. We're definitely going to talk about that on the podcast. I don't know that I want to get into all the Chicago stuff this late tonight. I am getting pretty tired. As far as leaving Donato out of the lineup, me and RJ are not a fan of leaving Donato out of the lineup. I think he brings a lot offensively to this team. Riley Shahan is odd man out for me. Him or Bastian. I think those are the two guys, the two low men on the totem pole, so to speak. Will RJ be joining you from the game? Yeah, I mean he's here in and out. We are gonna, we're gonna see what's going to go on, how often he's going to get the press credentials. We're going to work some stuff out. Yes. So we are gonna, if this is gonna be a regular thing, we are gonna work on doing that. So when he gets home, he'll hop on these. Just don't have that stuff set up yet. Um, RJ, yeah, there we go. He just got home soaking wet from the rain, but happy. I was unimpressed with Forsland in preseason, but I agree. I like him. He reminds me of Kevin back in the day for Sonics. Yeah, I can't speak to that. But yeah, he's definitely better than he was in the preseason. Yeah, some more talk about the Quinville stuff. Yeah, definitely glad that he's gone. Definitely say that. Uh, let's see. Brian agreeing with Irish Lad about starting Grubauer versus the Rangers and letting Decor get shell shocked by McDavid at all. Yeah, I don't know that we want to damage Decor's psyche or anything, throwing him to the wolves there, but yes, it's definitely an option. That's for sure. Aaron asking Dylan RJ, what's your takeaways from the game? When's the next podcast? So the podcast is every Monday. So the next one will come out on Monday. Overall, my thoughts from the game, I'd like to see them kind of come up with plays, help out with the system there, continue with some of the stuff that they've improved on in the last couple games, their outlet passes, entering the zone with speed, not just entering the zone along the boards, working a little more east-west. The PK is excellent, and it continues to be, and the power play continues to be not excellent. So that's definitely those are kind of my thoughts from the game tonight. To reiterate those, based on the 2 wins, who would be your third most improved players compared to the road trip? Oh, that's a big question, Sergeant Pickles. You know what? I'm going to save that question, Pickles, and we'll do that on the podcast because I think that's going to be a good one for both me and RJ to do. And I am starting to get tired, and I can feel my energy leaving my body. Kraken bonus TV tonight. University Michigan versus Wisconsin college hockey featuring Kraken #1 pick Matty Beniers. Hope he can join the Kraken for a playoff run in April. I do too. Look forward to seeing some of him. I haven't been able to watch him yet so far this season, but I do, and we'll definitely share kind of our thoughts on him and some of the other prospects. Hopefully not too far from now. RJ saying Hackstall was even careful to say this morning that Appleton would be out for this game so as not to give any more info than necessary. Gotta love coaches. Oh boy, don't we. Sheehan should clear waivers if he has 2-way contract. I don't remember if he's got a 2-way contract specifically. I could look that up really quick. Yes, if he 2-way contract would mean he doesn't even need to go on waivers. And I gotta think that he would probably clear waivers even if he is on a 1-way contract, just because I don't know that a ton of teams would be out there trying to grab him. Where is he on this? Why is he not listed up there? Why is he not on Cap Friendly? Am I just totally missing him? Oh, yeah, there he is. Yeah, I don't think it's a 2-way contract, but I think he could probably clear waivers anyway if they needed to. That being said, you can just make him a healthy scratch and he can hang around. He's not totally, unusable or anything. I just don't know that that we'd want him over Donato per se. Let's see. Sergeant Pickles is out. Thanks for joining us as always. Braun currently tracing the S on my jersey onto a sheet. Tanev Ghost jersey will be worn on Sunday. Awesome, Braun. Maybe the broadcast will give us all a good look at you. That would be awesome, huh? Yeah, Sheehan's definition of replacement level. Good night, Kraken families. Night, Brian. Thanks for joining us as always. Always a pleasure. Yeah, he's not waiver exempt. 2-way contract just affects salary in the minors, not whether waivers required. RJ saying you're right. Was it always that way though? Wasn't it different back in the day? I could have sworn the 2-way contract meant that there was a lot more movement up and down back in the day, RJ. That's what I remember from like the East Side days and stuff. So, but yeah, I mean, I could be wrong. I'll kind of hang around here just for RJ to clarify that. But obviously, if 2 people are saying it compared to just me, Alex saying I had to learn that this off season myself. Oh, okay. So it was a change before that last CBA. All right. So that's my fault for always playing old NHL video games, not being up on the now 9-year-old CBA. So thanks for the clarification, guys. Aaron's 5 p.m. on Friday in Australia, beer 30. Enjoy it. Enjoy the rest of your night there in Australia. Everybody else has got to go. Oh, Superfly in Germany. Got to go to work soon. Have a good night day, fellas. You too. Oh, man, it's so awesome to see everybody from all around the world, all around the country. Absolutely love to see that. That's going to do it for this post game. We'll see you all after that Sunday game against the Rangers. All right. Take care.